Hello, my name is Andreas Henneberg. Welcome to my studio. I got some questions from Mr. Mark Romboy today regarding the 101 kick drums on systematic sound. First question, how do you let a kick drum stand out of your entire mix? Any special approach? Basically, yeah, there are several ways of doing that. Some people using compression or sidechain to get a kick drum more present without turning them too loud. I'm doing a little bit different way. I'm using the tune, a slight light tune of the kick drum itself, that is frequently wise just mixed into the song, like you have just a kick drum or a bass line and try to mix them together. Just try to adjust the tune a little bit and you will see that it can help a lot to have a, how can I say, a soft, to bring a bass drum and a bass line soft together. That's my way to mix bass drums, basically, to not destroy the mix. What is your favorite drum computer? That's basically very easy. There are, okay, it's not so easy. There are two different drum computers. The first one is a Jomox X-Bass 09. Why? Basically, it's the first drum computer I ever had. I got it in the beginning of 2000, 2001, maybe 2002, from a good friend back in the days, and I just loved it because the bass drum with the snare was really analog and rough. The hi-hats were sample based, something like that, and it was very rough, not usable without a big compressor behind, but I don't know, I loved just the tune and everything. I like it very much. When it comes to hi-hats, I just go for a 909. That's priceless. The 909 hi-hats are just wow. I don't like the kick drum of the 909. I know it's very useful and a lot of people are using it for their productions and their tracks, but the hi-hats of the 909. Yep, hi-hats 909, kick drums and snare, Jomox X-Bass. That's it. What do you prefer, digital or analog? It's a very good question. Back in the days where I started, there was basically no digital. There was a computer with it was an Atari with the first version of Cubase on it, and there was no choice. It was basically analog, and I loved it. And I loved it until 2005, 2006. And there came a time where the software plugins became better and better, and in my opinion, it was the time to make a switch to digital, to software. Because it sounded very good and you had a total recall. You just save your track and open it from whatever a week later, and immediately you have the same settings and everything. You don't have to adjust the mixer again, blah blah. So it was very nice. Now, since 3 or 4 years, I go back to analog a bit, especially when it comes to synthesizers like the Moogs, because it's so nice to have just something in your hand to touch. It's a completely different way to work creative. Just to touch it and press record, and then it's in there and it's done. So it's super nice. Also, when it comes to summing or mix downs, I really prefer an analog summing and analog mix down, because the result at the end is just, for my ears, it's just much better to have something analog between, just to round the whole thing. So it's not a stupid question. Mark is asking me, you have a track with a long 808 kick drum and lots of bass and low end elements. How do you manage this? Okay, it's like same thing like the first question. When it comes to mix down and mastering and stuff, I'm really nerdy, and I love to solve problems with the easiest ways. I don't like compression that much. There was a guy in, I don't know, in the late 80s, a mix down god. He mixed the Stones and stuff, and he said compressing is for kids, and this was a very important sentence for me, just not use so many compression, especially when it comes to kick drums and bass sounds. you can solve a lot of problems with deep basses and deep bass drums with the frequencies itself. Like I said, with the bass drum, just use the tune only for 1 cent or 2 cents, and the whole frequency is changing with that. And if you just try a couple of times, it works pretty well and pretty fast. If you just try a couple of times, you will come to a point where both the deep bass and the deep bass drum will harmonize perfectly together. And in my opinion, it's a better way to mix down something like that, because at the end you have a very, very floating result. This is how I do it, mostly. Okay, the nerdy synthesizer questions coming. Is there any outstanding and approaching new analog synth you can recommend to your fans, and why? I think that's not so surprising, but I'm a big fan of the Moog synthesizers. Basically the old one and the new ones. I have no old one anymore, unfortunately, but I bought, of course, the Mini Moog Voyager and the very new Sub 37. And yes, I'm really happy with that. And the Sub 37, for me personally, I like more than the Voyager. It depends on what sound you want to create, but if it should be a bit more dirty and a bit more rough, and I like it, I would prefer the Sub 37 always, because I don't know, I can't even say why. It's just a sound, you know. You just touch it, and 1 minute later you get a sound out of it you never expected. And I'm always, when I touch it, I'm always surprised what to do with that. So it's really great. Just here in the corner, I received the new ARP and ARP Odyssey. They did a new version of it. There are 3 different versions. I bought the first one, but it's still packed. I need to try it. Maybe it's this one tomorrow. I have no idea. But for now, Moog Sub 37, techno. Next question. Coming back to kick drums. Which parameters do you edit in order to be happy with the bass drum in your track? You can change a lot with just tuning it, fine tuning with the pitch. That's for me the most important part, to edit a kick or to mix a kick into my track. And the second thing is, of course, EQing. Just have a very soft kick drum, for example, and you just want to have it a bit more present without turning it too loud. Just use EQing. Just hide it up at 600 or 600 to 2000 hertz, and it can sound completely different, especially in your mix. Of course, it depends on the kick drum you use. If you use a very rough 909 sample, you have to use compression as well, a bit of soft compression. But the most important thing is, like when it comes to kick drum, is the tuning, the pitch, and that's it. It's pretty easy. Try it.